Well, folks, Samsung have just officially launched their brand new lineup of devices with the all-new Galaxy S25 series, and this is actually the first time that I've been able to attend the Unpacked event in person, which I'm super stoked about. But I've been in the know about these phones for a few weeks now, and I can finally bring you a first look and first impressions of them. So there's three new devices in this lineup: the Galaxy S25, the S25 Plus, and the S25 Ultra. So let's unpack everything that is new about these three flagship phones from Samsung. Starting with design, and as far as the Galaxy S25 and S25 Plus are concerned, these are both very similar, in fact, virtually identical to last year's S24 and S24 Plus devices, which themselves were pretty similar to the previous year's S23 phones, but we do have new colors, which are Silver Shadow, Mint, Icy Blue, and Navy, as well as some new online exclusive colors, Blue Black, Pink Gold, and my favorite of the lot, Coral Red. Both devices are also slightly thinner this year, with the S25 measuring in at just 7.2 millimeters in terms of thickness compared to last year's 7.6 millimeters. It's also lighter at 162 grams, down from last year's 168 grams. And the S25 Plus is 7.3 mil thick, down from last year's 7.7 mil, and it's now 190 grams, down from last year's 197 grams. Aside from that though, hardware-wise, nothing else has been updated. We've got the same cameras, same displays, same battery capacity, same fingerprint sensors. The only noticeable change is that the base S25 now has the same RAM size as the bigger phones, with all three having 12 gigabytes of RAM across the board, whereas last year the S24 did have a base 8 gigabyte version available too. Now, as for the S25 Ultra, this one has actually seen some design changes in that we now have ever so slightly rounded corners for the first time on one of these Note style devices from Samsung. Now, don't get me wrong, the Ultra does still have that boxy look, especially compared to pretty much every other device on the market these days. It's just that the corners are less sharp, and honestly, I really like this change. It gives the device a softer, more elegant look, plus it definitely feels more comfortable in the hand now. And to add to that improved comfort, the S25 Ultra is also both lighter and thinner compared to last year's S24 Ultra as well, with a weight of 218 grams versus the S24 Ultra's 233 grams, and a thickness of 8.2 millimeters versus the S24 Ultra's 8.6. In terms of battery, as mentioned, all three phones have the same battery capacities as the S24 lineup, including the S25 Ultra. But I think even more disappointing than that is that all of them still do not support Qi 2 magnetic wireless charging. Samsung has released some new cases that do support the feature, which I guess is better than nothing, but as someone who likes to use my phone without a case, I would have much preferred to have seen this feature built into the phones themselves. Now, I did hear rumors that the reason the S25 Ultra didn't receive this feature was due to the S Pen, which is fine if true, and I also guess that this then meant that they wouldn't want to give it to the S25 or S25 Plus so as not to have them overshadowing their major flagship device. But yeah, slightly sad that we don't have Qi 2 wireless charging this time around. Oh, and speaking of the S Pen, obviously it's still here with the S25 Ultra, which I love. But one pretty significant change compared to previous years is that the S25 Ultra's S Pen no longer supports Bluetooth. So that means using your S Pen as a wireless remote to capture images and similar actions like that, those are no longer an option. And I asked Samsung why they decided to remove the functionality, and their reasoning was that user data suggested that hardly anyone actually utilized Bluetooth functionality. And sure, I could understand that reasoning if perhaps they were trying to make space for another feature like Qi 2 wireless charging or something similar, but that's not the case. So yeah, time will tell how controversial a change this will be. And honestly, my early prediction is that we'll see Bluetooth returning to the S Pen in next year's S26 Ultra. Now, in terms of cameras, the S25 Ultra has received an upgraded ultra-wide lens this year. In fact, it gets a pretty huge bump up from the 12 megapixel sensor used in years gone by to a large 50 megapixel shooter. And this, in theory, should not only result in much better quality ultra-wide shots as you'd expect, but it also allows for much higher quality macro shots, which I reckon could come in very handy. In fact, that was a large talking point that Samsung emphasized in regards to this upgraded ultra-wide lens, so I reckon we should see some pretty fantastic results out of this macro shooting functionality. Now, I kind of wish that Samsung also chose to upgrade that 3x telephoto lens as well, which is still the same 10 megapixel lens that we've had for a number of years now, but my guess is that they might be saving that for next year. I think I'm most sad though that we didn't see any hardware-based upgrades to the cameras on the S25 and S25 Plus, because we've seen the same cameras on these phones for a number of years now, and I reckon they're in serious need of upgrading. But whilst there might not be that many changes to the cameras in terms of hardware, there are quite a few new software features in relation to the cameras, a lot of which I'm really excited to test and try out. The first of which is that we now have the ability to shoot videos in log. For those not fully aware of what this feature is, it essentially allows you to shoot videos in a super flat picture profile, therefore allowing you to retain as much detail in both the shadows and highlights as a result. And this means that in theory, you should have way more flexibility when it comes to coloring and grading your shots after the fact. Add on to that all three phones now shoot 10-bit HDR videos by default, and the fact that Samsung have made some huge improvements to their noise processing pipeline, allowing for much cleaner videos to be captured, particularly in lower light conditions, but to be honest, in all conditions as well. And this should result in some seriously impressive video quality across the board. They've also introduced another new feature called Audio Eraser, and this is where after a video is captured, you can dive into this AI functionality section, and then the AI Eraser feature will scan the audio in the video incredibly quickly, might I add, and you can then decrease or increase various audio components captured. So for example, let's say you film someone playing at a bar like this example here, and you want to retain just the music and get rid of the audio of people talking nearby or just the general ambient noise in the background, then you can do exactly that. And the feature will show you different audio stems depending on the video. So this one has shown 4 different adjustable stems, but you might also see options like wind or nature sounds, and you can then tweak and adjust things to your liking, which I reckon is seriously cool. So in all honesty, if you're someone who captures lots of videos on your phone, then the software changes that Samsung has implemented in regards to video capturing, in particular this year, they're all seriously exciting, and I cannot wait to test them out in way more detail. Aside from that though, of course, a large focus of the launch of these phones is the upgraded version of Galaxy AI and the new version of One UI, One UI 7. And I've already done a deep dive on all of my favorite new features of One UI 7, which I'll link up in the cards and down below. But what wasn't covered in that video was all of the improvements to Galaxy AI that we get with the S25 lineup. And the big focus for this year's devices was how they've made the experience of using AI a much more seamless and integrated one. So for example, you could be watching a video on YouTube showcasing the best spots to visit while you're in San Jose, and you could then ask Google Gemini to list all of the places mentioned in the video and save it to a note for easy access later on, and it will do exactly that. You don't have to share the link to Gemini separately. You don't then need to manually copy the info into a note yourself. Galaxy AI and Google Gemini will do all of it for you, which I reckon is pretty slick. Or if you're looking up information for an event, rather than taking a screenshot and then trying to remember to refer back to that later on, you can instead use this new AI Select option, which will analyze what's in the screenshot and then intelligently offer you actions based on what it sees. So you could quickly save all of the information as an event in your calendar with details like location and where to buy tickets included. And this is honestly so useful. They also have features like this Now Brief, which gives you personalized information about your day ahead in this really neat design. And it also presents itself via suggestions in the new Now Bar feature. They also have a brand new call recording and call transcript feature, which I could see being very handy for anyone who makes and receives loads of calls. There's also a bunch of other new features sprinkled throughout, but the key aspect, as mentioned, is that they're all integrated very seamlessly throughout the user experience. And this means that you're much more likely to actually utilize the features without even really thinking about it, compared to before where you really had to intentionally want to use the various tools on offer to actually utilize them. The only thing to keep in mind is that I'm guessing that in 6, maybe 12 months time, or maybe even less than that, most of these features will get trickled down to older phones from Samsung. So whether they're an out and out reason to buy any of these new S25 devices themselves, probably not, but am I stoked to try them out regardless? You betcha. But there you go, that is your first look at the all new devices in Samsung's Galaxy lineup. And whilst this is just a first look video, I will be putting together an in-depth 1 month later style review of the S25 Ultra sometime next month after I've had plenty of time to put it to the test. And then I might even make an even longer term review of the regular S25 later in the year. So make sure that you're subscribed for whenever those videos go live. Aside from that, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you later.